Hey guys, it's Mike in Taiwan here. So I got this weird comment yesterday. He says like, why do you cover up your face? Because you're like, I don't know, saying some nonsense or something. So you feel the need to not show it to everybody. And I'm like, well, dude, like I'm thinking to myself, like if you think I'm saying nonsense, then why do you have to look over here? Sorry to be so direct, but just something that I kind of figured out yesterday that you got to focus on like the present time sometimes. I think that so many times in my life I'm trying to like do so many things at the same time. Sometimes it's good to have leverage. Leverage like literally is like when something's happening and you're not really thinking about it, like I don't know, maybe like your stocks are going up while you're sleeping, or I don't know, maybe you're like growing like cryptocurrencies or whatever it is, right? But those would be like something that's like super passive. But if you're trying to do like three things at the same time, like take care of your kids and watch TV and like grow your social media and like eat food, like you're not really there. And it's something that I've been trying to kind of avoid for like years and years. But it's like it's kind of catching up to me in a way, because I'm starting to feel, because I'm getting like kind of up there in age, about that I have to like do more. But at the same time, I know that it's everywhere. I know that like everybody is kind of like feeling the same thing. I was kind of feeling under the weather the last kind of couple of days, and I'm kind of trying to get rid of it. And I think that it's kind of like creeping in because like the weather change and whatever. I have my theory about that, but it's weird like how all of these things are like happening to all of us all at the same time, but yet we're trying to deny it, and we're trying to just say like, okay, there's other people out there. I've been saying for years, being in Taiwan, sometimes I feel that people are like an obstacle. They're like not like an asset. And I think that's definitely the wrong attitude to have, but it's kind of hard to shift away from that when, people are just kind of like in your way, and, they're like me first. And, I've been trying to get over that whole like thing with the me first thing. Maybe it's an age difference. Maybe it's a cultural difference. Certain people are used to having kind of like a preferential treatment. I was on the subway yesterday, and the first part of the subway ride was pretty crowded, but then like kind of the last part, like these 65 plus people like came in, years old, age, whatever, and they were just noisy. And I mean, I get it that they don't care. I get it that they like can't hear, so they want to like just talk really loudly, but it's like they're just really bothering other people. And I don't know, whatever it is, you could say like some people are like less classy than others, and why would you want to do that? But I mean, there's no written rule that says that you can't be noisy or whatever. I was talking to this lady in another language like years and years ago on the train, and somebody slipped me a note and says that don't talk loud in that language or something. And it was like, okay, well, you guys can talk loud in your language, but you guys, but when something shifts over to something else, then like that's not that you're not familiar with, then you tell them whatever, right? So, and I mean, I don't want to focus too much on pessimism. I don't want to focus too much on things that are negative, because like I would say for the most part, like everything is pretty much going well. I'm starting to grow my social media presence more and more, which I think people should do that. If you had 10,000 or like 50,000 followers like in your life, like what would you do? People that actually cared about the things that you care about. And it's weird in a way, because you have to give people value. You have to show people like entertainment. You have to like give them something that they're going to come back more and more for. I don't want to be like one of those guys that think that, oh yeah, this person has more of an advantage over me or whatever it is. Some people be like, well, I like to follow girls or something on social media. Some people might be like, well, I like to follow men who are like 6 foot tall and have a British accent or whatever it is, and blah blah blah. That's cool. That's your prerogative. So you have to figure out what is your advantage over the other people. What makes you a little bit more special? And if you think it purely from an advantage standpoint, I think there's like some dude who is like a motivational speaker, and he has like no arms and no legs, right? So like, what separates you from him? That what is your advantage or what disadvantage when it comes to him? I mean, he's married on top of that too, right? So that like pulls away your excuses. And I don't want to be like one of those people that say that stuff all these things in your face and be like, hey, look at this, right? Because that just, in a way, I think that's kind of demotivating. I had a friend of mine, and I guess she's moving into a new house, and as far as I know, like financially, like she's doing all right. She has a business. She has a pretty good idea of like the way that things are going. Some of the methods I think are a little bit controversial though, and I won't really get much into it because I don't want to be a part of that. But I mean, I want to be a part of that business, but I don't want to be part of the nonsense and the controversial stuff where people are like talking about whatever. But the point is that people, they need to think about things a certain way, especially in the future. I think that we're probably better together than we are apart. And I have some coworkers that every time that I bring up like certain type of ideas about business or whatever, they're like I talked to somebody and they started like, this was some dude online, but he's saying about how he feels that the AI thing when it comes to teaching is like not real. I'll talk about that with him here, right? Because I'll probably never see him. But he says that he has like some cushy job with the Ministry of Education, and he said that during COVID-19 they started with this whole AI thing, and it didn't really work. Well, I'm like, dude, I'm thinking to myself that it's the future. It's not now. It's not just then in 2019. People were like more into the idea of like doing things online, but they didn't really have like I would probably say in the last like 4 or 5 years, there's been like a huge paradigm shift where there's like kind of 3 groups and 3 ideas about AI. One is like, it's never going to happen. 2 is, we need to kind of go with it. And 3 is, they just kind of do things the way that they used to do, and they don't really notice it. I don't know. Wherever you are, you gotta see, like, you gotta open your eyes to something. But maybe you're like an ostrich or like whatever, or an emu. I think that's what it's called. Emus, they just stick their head in the ground and they just bury it and pretend everything is okay when it's really not. And you probably especially when it comes to AI, don't just like watch all these movies and stuff. Terminator. What's another crazy movie about AI? Matrix, maybe. And these movies, they have like this very dystopian reality of what's to come. And I think probably that's even if that is like some truth to that, is it like maybe 100 years from now or something? I don't know. But I think that we're just really at a crossroads, and we need to kind of like figure out if you're in or out. If you don't, that's okay. And like AI is something that I always want to talk about with my students all the time, but I think that to be honest with you, that some of my students are kind of sick of me like talking about it, because there's just so much more. Climate change. What else is there? I guess protecting animals, I guess. The economy, jobs. People are saying that in South Korea, their whole country is going to be gone in like 50 years. I don't doubt it, because kind of the way things are going, but it's a little bit of like a perfect storm about a lot of things about South Korea, like misogyny is like one big thing. The fact that there's just so many people who think that making babies is too expensive, and and it's a shame, because the Korean culture is like really great. It's really unique. I wish they could get their act together. Thailand, Korea, Japan is kind of like all a mess right now, right? But you gotta like pick your side and figure out where you are, and then focus on the things that are important to you. So hopefully that was enlightening. I'll see you guys later. It's Mike in Taiwan. Bye for now.